Welcome to Geography Rocks. In this tutorial we're going to take a look at interpreting maps. In any geography GCSE paper you can expect to see at least one or two maps which you have to interpret. Take a moment to look at the map carefully. When describing the location of a place, try to imagine yourself a long way out of the map and then slowly zooming yourself in, a bit like the little character on Google Earth. For example, you might be given a world map and then maybe a country map showing a close-up of a specific location. Start by looking at the world map. Identify maybe which continent we're looking at. Is it South America, Europe, wherever? And then pick on the zoomed-in map and identify which area of a country we're in, north, south, east or west, etc. Always look for hints and clues that the examiner has given you. It might be place names, road names, continents, compass points, a scale, the equator or tropics. There might be a key. If so, what do different colours mean? Read the question carefully. What is the command word? Are you being asked to describe the location of something? Are you being asked to describe the distribution of something? Or are you being asked to describe the track or the route that something has taken? The word distribution comes up quite a lot with maps. It means where are certain things located, for example a biome, a megacity or a volcano. Let's take a look at this map. The examiner has given us some key information. The question that would go along with this map is something along the lines of describe the distribution of the world's rainforests. On the map we've got this information. We've got the names of some of the continents. We've got the equator. We've got a compass point. And we've got a key which shows the dark green areas are the rainforests. Back to the question. Describe the distribution of the world's rainforests. We're being asked to think about where they are as well as where they're not. Let's take a look at a model answer. The world's rainforests are mainly located along the equator. The largest is in Brazil in South America. They are also located on the western side of Central Africa and Indonesia. There are no rainforests in Europe. Let's take a look at a different type of map. In this map, we're being asked to describe the location of the world's largest cities. Again, cast your eye to the map and just take a moment to look at it. It's got a key with population of millions down the left-hand side. Tokyo, with 36.1 million people, is the largest, with Dhaka at number 10 with 14.8 million people. At the bottom I can see that this is based on 2010's data. How could you use the equator in this question? Perhaps you could mention how many of the top 10 are north of the equator or how many south. Never use the phrase above or below when talking about the equator. We always say north or south because we're geographers. You need to think about whether you could talk about any continents. North America, I can see a couple of the largest cities. South America, in Brazil I can see one. The remainder are in Asia, with none in Europe or Africa. I'm already getting a picture of what this question is going to be about. Let's take a look at a response. In 2010, 9 out of 10 of the largest world cities were north of the equator, 2 in North America, 1 in Brazil in South America and the rest in Asia. Europe and Africa did not have any of the 10 largest cities. A clear and succinct description of those world's largest cities. The same sort of map, but this time one is from 2010, the other from 2050. In this exam question I'm being asked to compare. Compare means how are they similar and how are they different. Always use the phrase whereas when you're asked to compare something. Let's take a look at the response. In 2010 and in projections for 2050, there will be 2 of the top 10 largest cities in North America. There are differences. For example, in 2010, none of the top 10 largest cities were in Africa, whereas by 2050 it's likely that there will be 2. The continent of Asia had 7 of the top 10 cities in 2010, whereas it will have 6 in 2050. South America had one of the largest cities in 2010, whereas it will not have any by 2050. Our final little map to take a look at. This time we're looking at the track of Hurricane Katrina. There's lots of information on this map. Let's see what the examiner is asking us to do. He's asking us to use figure 1 to describe the track of Hurricane Katrina. The word track means direction. So we're looking at the route. Where did the hurricane travel? Let's take a close look at that map. On the 24th of August, the storm was travelling in a westerly direction. It hit Florida on the 25th. It continued to travel westerly into the Gulf of Mexico, where it turned northwards and hit New Orleans. In that response, I've tried to think about the direction that the hurricane was first travelling. It was travelling westwards. I use a reference point of Florida, and then I make sure that I mention that it travels across and into the Gulf of Mexico. It's written down there in faint blue. I can see that the track then goes north, and I mention that, and I know that it hits New Orleans. I do hope this has been helpful. My name's Mrs. Wingham, and you've been watching Geography Rocks.